Okay, back with another episode of deep dive analysis on stuff. I like talking. Everybody's like, why don't you put it on camera? Because nobody wants to hear me talk. That's fine. It works for me. What's this video called? I'm gonna be looking down because I'm gonna be looking at this book and I'm having a laptop. That way I can fact check some stuff, even though I know most of this stuff already, but just so we could talk a little easier. In this episode, right now, in the winter, most of the nominations happen for the award shows. Recently, they just announced the Grammy nominees. Emmys just happened, I think, like a weekend or two ago. Oscars will be coming up sooner than we know it. I'm gonna be talking about what it takes to be a nominee. So I broke in this video into a few sections and let's just get right into it. We live in a world where exclusivity equates to status, money, and desirability, along with validity. This also comes up when you think about award shows. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, infamous Oscars and Grammys will be the focus point of this video. I'll discuss the origins, who they're really created for, and what it means to really be a glitch in the matrix for these big awards. Part 1, the origins. The first Academy Awards was held in 1929. It was a private dinner at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel for an audience of 270 people. That's nothing compared to what it is now. The after party, which is the infamous after party, took place at the Mayfair Hotel. Guest tickets at that time were $5, and in 2020, the equivalent to that is about 85 bucks. But I'm thinking it probably could be for the wealthy to save their money because that just makes sense. They always keep the coin in with them. During the first ceremony, the winners were announced 3 months earlier in the media. In the 1930s, and for the next 10 years, the results were announced in the newspapers the day before, but the LA Times caught on and decided to run their own announcement section in 1940, and the year right after, the Oscars decided to do the same thing and more. They decided to make it super exclusive and start to announce the winners in the cute envelope, like the little red or the gold envelope that they open. So the word Oscar actually originated in Italy, and it literally just means what it sounds like, award. Now, the Grammys, originally named gramophone, which makes sense when I was doing the research for this. Yeah. I think that's like the study of sound or like the creation of sound. Let's see, actually. Homophone. Oh, gramophone, sorry. Gramophone. Yeah, there we go. It looks like the Grammy Award, I figured. That's why the award is shaped like a gramophone. I should have kept reading what I wrote. The first Grammys was held in 1959, which is decades after the first Oscars. And there was a award show on the East Coast and the West Coast. So when it was in Cali, it was in Beverly Hills. And then when it was in New York, it was in the Pork Sheraton. Both of these award shows hold ridiculous stature and comes with the best gifts, elevation in your life, and social status. Also with your career, because now you're known for this notorious nominee or award, or it's like a country club, or it's a cool kids club. And after you become grandfathered or honored and are like initiated in, all of a sudden things just start happening for you. You know, they say it's who you know. And now here are the 2 charts that show just the requirements for the Oscars and the Grammys. You can pause it and look at it for a second if you want to. These awards aren't small accolades. They're blown up on a worldwide global level as far as the US has for representation's sake. An Oscar means your movie production or any part of your cinema, from acting to music scoreboard, are at this prestigious level that holds such honor. Same thing goes for the Grammys. The acceptance, approval that stamps an artist's music as groundbreaking, executed well, at this high stature in the music industry. So they do the same thing. The nomination process has a committee that takes part in each industry that does inside voting to decide who the winner is. Rolling out the red carpet, the nominees are spoiled like crazy. I'm telling you. Right after you're announced as a nominee, yo, there goes the saying where people really say it's your year. Well, it's your year when you're nominated. As I mentioned before, at the end of the year is when, you know, the fruits of your labor, you finally get to blossom and see all the hard work you put in, what your results are from that. And in that, you're a nominee. So if your song has gone mainstream crazy and your song is a crazy TikTok song, or if your movie has been talked about in film festivals, in multiple different film festivals, and it's getting crazy New York Times reviews, or it's trending online and there's heavy debate about it for the movie or as actor or actress on the movie, you know, big budgets. Big budgets are literally a signing check just to the Oscars at this point. When you have a really big backed production, the names work for themselves. Right now, The Color Purple is about to come out and it's just a star-studded cast. Granted, I feel like we've done The Color Purple more times than enough. The singing speaks for itself and no one's ever mad at that. So Oprah Winfrey was in the original. Now she's producing this one. That's a $sign or 5 right there. Taraji P. Henson is in it. I'm gonna name everyone that's in it, but Taraji P. Henson is in it, and she just got off of being an executive producer for a Broadway show called Jaja's Hair Braiding. It was amazing. I went and saw it and it was great. Shout out Dominique Thorne. Awesome girl, awesome. Everybody did great, but you did your thing. All that being said, it's a bigger conglomerate than we realize when it comes to being nominated. And once you're nominated, the red carpet is rolled out for you. The press run is crazy. Right now, Tyla, if you don't know her, this young South African artist named Tyla did this song called Water, and it came out in the summer and it was cute. I liked it. I'm on TikTok. I was like, oh, this is cute. And then when it was trending on my For You page or my Explorer page, I think it's called Explorer. I'm mixing up the apps. But anyway, on my like generated search engine of things they think I like because I'm a dancer, the video of her doing it on her tour came out. And of course, we all know it went viral. If you didn't see it, here you go. So she doing her thing, and while she's doing her thing, it started taking off. You know, right now we live in this day and age where once it hits TikTok, the music industry just doesn't even care and they're just letting it run its course. If you want to hear a video about me talking about a deep dive of the industry when it comes to music and how there's really no integrity anymore or ever, because all it is whatever goes viral, and does virality equate to authenticity when it comes to the art? But if you want me to talk about that, comment below. Anyway, so Tyla's song goes viral. Everyone's doing a challenge. Everyone's doing it. You know, they throwing water on themselves, and it just kept taking off. And since then, what month was that? I can look it up. I'm like, what month was that? She did Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was last month. Let me see. Jimmy Kimmel Water. Sorry, she did Jimmy Fallon. Oops. Sorry, Jimmy's. 2 of you. Yeah, she did Water. She did a month ago. Okay, cool. And it was a month ago, November. So yeah, like November. So from July to now. First, so it's like July, August, September, October. So for 4 months, that song has taken off so much that she finally started debuting in the United States when it comes to performances. So she did Jimmy Fallon. I know right before that, she did one of those daytime shows out in her home country. What are those? Like the Jennifer Hudson show with Regis and Kelly or Mike and Kelly. Not a morning show, but a daytime talk show. That's what it's called. So her daytime talk show premiere was out there. And then she did Jimmy right after and did her big thing. And she's been doing more and more press because she's gotten more and more opportunities to perform because the song is doing so well. And then she got nominated. And then when she was nominated, I just kept seeing more and more and more and more and more. And she's just one example. I think she did a Rolling Stone recently. I saw she had gotten a big plaque where she pretty much, like the billboards out in her country, South Africa, out there, they honor her with like the billboard out there of like, girl, you've been doing your thing. The artists become elitist, at least in pop culture's eyes. They represent status, quality, and iconic status due to their talent. So as I mentioned, all these people that have been iconic have done amazing things, and they get to this point where they're nominated and kind of have the respect, or at least the eyes on them by peers in their industry. There are some people, unfortunately, this whole concept is not written for. We'll just call this segment Slips in the Crack. Now, granted, nominations are based off of talent, or so they say they are. They have people throughout the years that have had a controversial run with these award shows and how it was handled or not being handled the best. First, Nicki Minaj. being nominated for 12 Grammys and winning 0. There has been this uproar and lingering tension the bars believe must exist with the Recording Academy and Miss Onika. With Nicki Minaj having a long, successful career and multiple accolades, it causes people to think the Grammys are rigged. Can you blame them? Especially when she has some really supportive families. The Barbs are scary, okay? I'm afraid of them. I am not gonna lie. Now, of course, am I really afraid of anybody? No, but the fact that, to me, the Barbs are like the Beehive, the Riri Navy, you know, I'm not dying for nobody, and it just gets really, really scary when it gets to a fandom that becomes over-sensationalized and unrealistic to where people are willing to put themselves in harm's way for another person's life that they don't know. They don't know. I could support what you do, and I love what you do, and I like your work ethic. I love your creative control, if there is any, because you are signed. And that's not everybody. If you're independent, that doesn't count to you. But if you are killing it and it looks great, I'll support, you know, but I'm not going out for nobody. And the Barbs are scary. So, you know, they believe it's rigged, and I meant they kind of have every right to believe so because Nicki done did her big one. One thing I'll say about that lady, people either like her or they don't, and I don't understand why it's so important to feel like that about her. I just watched, I mean, like right before I did this video, I just watched her Casanat live stream. It was really good. Maybe because I'm from the same state as her, so and I can only imagine the understanding and the love and the being super authentic and her experience with his family, and he's worked hard, so it just seems so genuine. And I feel like we are so good at putting celebrities at this unrealistic standard that we forget that they work hard and they feel away when they don't see the fruits of their labor that they bust their ass for forever, which is like a Grammy, I guess, but not really. Many speculate that her 2012 Grammy performance, that Grammy producer Ken wanted canceled due to the Whitney Houston passing days prior. This was the Roman's revenge era, so the performance was giving exorcism vibes, which was what the Grammys wanted canceled. Her situation with her and Lotto last year didn't help. Last year, Nicki was upset because they were trying to put her song in the pop category and then Lotto's song, who actually sound like pop, in the hip hop category. And I'm not gonna lie, it did seem a little weird because to me, regardless of whatever category you put both in, I feel like they should have been with each other. Now, I do feel like Nicki's song was a little more lyrical. Let me look it up. Oh, it's Super Freaky Girl. I can look it, I can find it. It's like sSorrrryy. Okay, I think that's that song. Oh, and I'm reading off a Billboard, by the way. They moved it from rap to actually pop, which is a little like, ooh. And that's kind of messed up because if she's able to see that it was in rap initially, why would you move to pop so I could lose? And then Lotto, her song Big Energy. I can tell you got big energy. And that song is kind of really what put her on the pop map, and that was still rap. And Nicki was like, you gotta be kidding me. And they quoted her saying, this is Nicki, if Super Freaky Girl is a pop song, what genre is Big Energy? So all that happened. You know, Nicki hasn't had the best run with the Grammys, which is why I mentioned her as a slip through the cracks, because they didn't want what she had. They were so confused that she still is relevant and can exist and have a substantial career and be blacklisted by them. Well, her fan base is great, deal with it. Now, Drake and the Grammys. Nominated 51 times, winning 5. We all know Drake's legacy on this generation. That being said, I have this article on my phone. This article I read that literally explained the fact that Drake has been trying for the longest to be like, listen, Grammys, like, y'all are okay, but y'all are really not my like bee's knees, and I don't blame him. Drake is not a stranger to the industry, and he's won, he's been nominated. That's not the problem. This started around 2017. He declined to submit his album More Life. So this is the first time something kind of started happening for any 2018 Grammy Award. Even though it did qualify, why wouldn't it as Drake? We already saw that coming. Around that year's show, it intensified after Jay-Z won no awards, despite being nominated for 8. Drake really is just not messing with them because they are corny. They are reputable people that have been in it longer, worked hard, deserves their flowers, unfortunately at your standards, whatever that means. And Drake did the perfect example. Drake backed out. He's like, I'm good. I don't want to do this right now. You know, it's not my year. It's not my time. I'm working on me. Whatever he said. And y'all still snub Jay-Z like he's not Jay-Z. 2018. Oh yeah, the year he won. So 2019, I remember he won a Grammy. And his speech was like, yo, for real, y'all don't need this. This don't validate who you are. Even though I'm Drake and everybody fuck with your boy. I'm being dramatic, but he definitely was doing one of the, yo, y'all, thank you, but y'all don't need this. This not it. And then it went, and then the music started, and I was like, oh. They weren't messing with Drake then. Best rap song for God's Plan. That was a video he threw like $1 million out to everybody around Miami, I think. He says, quoted, "We play an opinion-based sport, not a factual-based sport," he said. "You already won if you have people sing along to your songs word for word. If they're singing in your hometown, you're already winning, and you don't need this thing right here." Shows Grammy. It says, however, Academy Award CEO Harvey Mason Jr. has made a strong and concerted effort to overhaul some Academy producers and staff and effectively clean up the organization's acts in the wake of years of accusations of insiders, deals, and interests. Okay, I just read all that to say that they were doing some like sneaky nominations. Weeks after the 2021 awards, the Academy announced that it was eliminating the secret nomination review committee. What is that? That for decades had curated the final list of nominees. This sounds whack. The Academy abruptly expanded the nominees for Best Album, Song, Record, and New Artist from 8 to 10. It does look longer in like the last year or two. I felt like, it's really a lot of people nominated. The CEO insisted, this is Variety talking. It says, although some suggest it was done to ensure that Taylor Swift, who had no other nominations in 2022, got one. What was it for? Song, album, or record of the year? Well, if she ain't put nothing out, what does it matter? Drake has had his run in, and then 2022, he put everything in and then took it out. So he, I think, was only nominated for, this was during his Certified Lover Boy album release. Drake was one of the 5 nominees for Best Rap Album for Certified Lover Boy and Best Rap Performance for Too Sexy With Myself featuring Future and Young Thug. Rather than give a nomination to the recipients of the 6 most votes, as the Academy did when it suddenly decided to expand the top 4 categories from 8 to 10 last month. This was in 2022, by the way. The voting for those 2 rap categories will go forward with just 4 nominees, which is pretty ass because if Drake's dropping out, then they should give somebody else a chance to step up. And I remember that was what people were speculating he did, and that's really sweet if he did that. I don't really know if that was the motive, but I think it's nice that we give other people a chance to shine. Like, come on. He ended up still submitting them, but he pulled them out last minute anyway. And I know this year he's nominated for Album of the Year, but it's with Her Loss. And people were like, Drake, why you still nominating if you don't like them? But everyone's speculating because 21 Savage is half of it. He wants his Grammy, so Drake is gonna take one for the team. So it's the Grammy side of things. Now going over to the Oscar side of things when it comes to the slips and the cracks. And I'm gonna start with the iconic Will Smith. King Richard was an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it, it's on HBO Max. It was great. It was the story of Venus and Serena Williams, who are iconic, super pro athletic tennis players that I grew up on and my mom loved, and I was gonna take tennis if we had a tennis court near us. Anyway, the story is about their dad and his, lack of a better term, Jermaine Jackson, the Matthew Knowles and kind of approach. He did his thing, and it just shows you what they went through, and kind of, he played the dad. If you don't know who Will Smith is, you are sleeping under a rock, and if you don't sleep under a rock, then you just never watched good TV. Will Smith is a Black American actor. He's a superstar. When you mention Tom Cruise, Angela Bassett, Betty White, Will Smith is up there. Will Smith, I can name his catalog forever, but everything from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he was a rapper, still is a rapper, he's everything. Married to his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, and they've had 2 lovely kids. Will has an older son. They had Jaden and Willow. If you don't know, Willow was, I whip my hair back and forth. And now she's like this cool rock chick who did, wait a minute. And then she did that song with SZA X, If You Know, You Know. And then Jaden, his dad, he did Karate Kid, Pursuit of Happiness. I can name so many things. Will Smith was in I Am Legend, Bad Boys, Men in Black. You know, Will had been in the industry for a minute. He was never given his moment like this. He was nominated. It just made sense at this time in his life that King Richard won Best Actor, which was like, yay for Will Smith. But that night, you know, before winning it, he just actually slapped Chris Rock in the face. You can't do that, you know what I'm saying? He did it for Jada. Chris Rock did make an insensitive joke and her alopecia. Sitting in the front, you only get nominated when you know. You only sit in the front when you nominated. Remember I told you the perks of being nominated? You sit in the front and you get the TV time. I watched podcast, Joe Budden's to be specific. His audio engineer guy, Parks, had mentioned he went to the Grammys and he was like, yo, if you're not in the front rows that get the TV time, you don't get no food and you can't move to go to the bathroom, and I think all they could drink is water. So it's not what it's chalked up to be. So he's nominated, he's in the front. The man takes about 10 steps and and you're like, oh, you know, we not even really in there like that. You know, people of color, we really aren't in there like that. So it just really would be nice to not do that. No one can tell you how to act in the moment, especially when you're riding off of emotions. So of course, it is what it is, but the black host got smacked by the black actor. We ain't supposed to be in these rooms. Just being honest, not set up for us. Aftermath, I think the cameras were still rolling and they were showing, so Washington is consoling Will Smith and so much black excellence. And it's like, fuck, please don't do these things. Right after that, maybe a couple nominations later, he wins Best Actor and he's crying. And he's so thankful. And you know, people were like, he should get his award taken because we don't, you know, support that. But by the time the show was taped, they already had the ballots casted, so he won. Whether he smacked him or not, he was the winner. That was that. Because he smacked him, the aftermath and the consequences of his actions were that he is banned 10 years from the Oscars, and that happened last year. So this Oscar will make, I think the 2024 Oscar will make 2 Oscars, because he did it in 2022, I think. Right, it was 2 years ago. So it's already been 2 Oscars this upcoming February. He has 8 to go. The fact that he was banned 10 years already just shows you, when I say there's slips in the crack, the total opposite of that is Harvey Weinstein. I had to just take it there. Trigger warning, this has to deal with sexual assault, domestic violence. If you don't want to hear this part, you could just skip to this section. You'll hear my conclusion and how I felt, and we could strap it up there, boo, no stress. I am gonna talk about Harvey Weinstein a little bit and him being total contradiction. So when I was looking up information about the Harvey Weinstein section, I was typing in on YouTube. They had a compilation of how many times he was thanked at the awards. Like, it's not a lot of other creepy old looking white men that direct. Yeah, they'll all give it to him. It's just, it's ridiculous to me that we live in a world that is just so monopolized. And I understand the richer get rich when you gatekeep things, but this is why creepy ass shit slip through the cracks. You get situations like him because everyone turns a blind eye knowing he looked creepy as fuck. Everyone's thanking him, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be honest, I learned a lot. I've heard about the Harvey Weinstein situation, but I was never infatuated enough, well, I don't want to say infatuated, cared enough to learn about it. I didn't. I've heard so much. Being an actor and going to acting school and learning so much and training, I knew a little bit. I didn't know what actors and actresses were associated with it. Having a 20-year plus run in the industry. Speeches from 1966 to 2016. He was mentioned in 34 speeches and just as many times as God. I mean, one of his biggest relationships that stunned me was Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence? I like her. I don't know much, but I like her. She won me with Hunger Games. I'm one of those. I went to the movie, I didn't read the book, so don't even. And I loved it. And the girl acted her butt off, but regardless of how she feels about it now. And I've seen article titles say that she said that, you know, Hunger Games was a dark time. She didn't want to do it. She wasn't crazy about the, whatever, how she felt about it. She wasn't excited about it now, or she looks back and like regrets it. Anyway, Jennifer Lawrence was thinking him a couple times, and I didn't want to look up what movie she was in that he directed. I didn't want to. He did some iconic movies I liked, like he did the Romeo and Juliet that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. That was my joint. This is called Romeo Must Die or something like that. Amazing. And I'm sad he did that. He's so freaking creepy. Throughout his time in the industry, he didn't get stripped of anything until the end. It took all the women that came forward, came together, and then hit the press with it. They were not trying to remove him. They were speculating that his production company already was creepy AF when it came to setting up his deals. His assistant came forward, and I saw her BBC interview, and she was just talking about how it was just the norm. She had to let the actresses know, listen, he gonna get a little handsy. I know you heard about it. She would tell them what to do as far as, listen, just keep it cute, you'll make your coin, you could go home. She said, I knew, but I didn't know the depths of it. Like, I thought he was doing creepy old man, like just rubbing their back, laughing kind of thing. But she said when she got into the position that the assistant that she was covering or replacing told her, just make sure you wear a button up all the way to your neck and never sit on the leg of his, never sit on the arm of his chair. It was just like weird, creepy, like just, he's gonna be like that. Time and time again, people said due to his power trip in the industry and how much he ran and how many people he got together on sets and had successful careers. He made his deals in his hotel rooms, in his apartments or whatever. That's freaking weird and you're freaking creepy. And because of that, a lot happened. And they were not trying to push that little old creepy white man to the side. They knew for a long time and people were turning a blind eye. So he's the slip through the crack, but in his way, because I do think it is due to privilege. And now the conclusion. If you made it this far, shout out to you. You're awesome. So after me saying all of that and just deep diving about certain people getting these awards, being associated with this industry, the Oscars, the Grammys, you know, there's other ones like EGOTs, which is if you get an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. I was gonna mention the Emmys a little bit, but I was like, oh, this video will be forever and it's already kind of pretty long. Capitalism equals validation. I say that because it's the truth. When you make these companies more money, you become more accepted in the world. People only like what they can make money off of, and that's what keeps the economy going. You only become relevant when you bring in bucks in the box offices, when you're bringing in bucks with your music videos, when you're bringing in bucks at your performances, when you're bringing in bucks with your Pepsi commercial. You only get these things if you're making the money. And they don't trust everyone to make them money, which is why the slips that happen in the crack, i.e. a Nicki, she can get a deal. People will be confused she will be able to get because she's not tied with the people that you're apparently supposed to be tied to get this opportunity. You already know the Taylor Swift effect. The girl is the epitome of an all-American white girl. And we see how she got America like, the girl got America in the chokehold. And no one's mad at that. You know, if you are, I get it. Blue eyes, blonde hair, to the point where she's so powerful that people just go, girl, we ain't even fighting your fight. We can't even play in your field. We just want you to fuck with us. And it's not her fault. It's not her fault she's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl. It's not her fault. She seems cool. I like Taylor Swift's music. I'm not a Swiftie. Like I said, capitalism equals seeking validation. Seeking validation equals the award. Now you're in the limelight a lot more. I mentioned all those things you can get. Super Bowl, halftime show, Vegas residency, a TV show. Come on. It all happens very quickly, very fast. And they always say like your 15 minutes isn't forever, or when you have your moment, you gotta run with it when it happens for you. Spotlight's on you. And then awards equals capitalism. So the cycle repeats. Now that you have an award, you're gonna be on the cereal box. What they say, the Olympic people used to be on the Wheaties. You now become the poster child. That whole year, you are running up the money. It's like going back to the Olympics. When they have their Olympic year, do you know how much sponsorship they get? They're on every commercial that whole year. Before the Olympics, if they win gold after the Olympics, you can market yourself now because you have this title next to you. Same thing goes for awards. Coco Gauff, they just reported that she is the highest paid woman athlete of 2023, making $23 million because she is decorative now with these titles. She won the US Open out in Queens. When you win, now you get in sponsorships. So, like I said, the cycle repeats itself. Capitalism equals seeking validation. Seeking validation equals awards. And awards equals capitalism, and the cycle repeats itself. Capitalism, validation, awards. Capitalism, validation, awards. Everyone is copy and paste to fit into this cog in the wheel. They're doing whatever they have to do to get this status, you know, get an Oscar, get a Grammy. You don't need the approval when you're creating something you really love. You don't. That's why people like Victoria Monet had the year she had this year. Victoria Monet is so slept on, all right? And I'm glad she's getting everything she deserves this year. I mean, down to her tour was in small venues. And then it sold out in 10 seconds. Do you know how mad I was? I was upset that I could not go to Victoria Monet because they got her doing Terminal 5. And they got her doing the cute venues. Like, she not VM. Like, she not VM. Okay, the woman is tough. That she works hard. I feel like she's our next Beyonce. Her work ethic is amazing. It's easy for her. She loves what she does. Her discipline is through the roof. People like that. She's being herself, and the fruits of her labor are finally being paid off. Now, screw what the outside perception says, because she was already great. To where the fans are like, it's about time. It's become a big deal. I digress. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it this far, shout out to you. Hopefully I don't take forever to do the next one because I really like doing these. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. These videos actually do really good on my channel. So please, this really helps out a lot. I like doing this and I would really like to do this a lot more. I'm going to do it a lot more. I gotta be able to stop doing something else. I would like for this to pay me one day. That would be amazing. I really like doing these. So help me out by showing your love. Share it, comment, give it a thumbs up, something.